escutando? Motivation on a Monday, topics to try on a Tuesday. New wave music on a Wednesday. Thought back Thursday, Friday. Can't wait to the open mic. Got a cypher on Saturday. Do it like a holiday. Ain't nobody messing with the Pizza Show. We come back like a payday every weekly. So grab your camera phones and get your device.
Take off your shoes and grab yourself some popcorn, baby. Cause the Pizza Show is online. Monday through Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, baby.
What up, fam? I'm Fat Dude Toph. What up? Act so you didn't already know that I'd come through and spaz for show. I got no love for them trash ass hoes, but if she a dime, I might serve up a little bit of dick to this breezy, bro. It ain't no rhyme to busting nothing. These hoes make it way too easy, though. Hop on the beat so I can kill some shit and put it down for the PZ show. Man, chop it up and talk about him during an interview, but y'all never see me talking to the police, ho. Can't recognize, can't real recognize, yo. Y'all don't wanna smoke with shotguns. Told me acting like a lame, I have to pull the steel, and I promise you don't want it with my guns. Motivation Monday is how I like to start my week, y'all. It's a 2020 vision, it's still crazy all the time. I get spotted by the blind MC, so take a moment and relax, and just let your head nod with the beat. Right, grab yourself some snacks, a comfy seat, and go ahead and kick up your feet. Listen to a few tracks, the homie get a few facts, and you may even find a little bit of inspiration. Looking to do an interview with any crew artist, coast to coast across the nation. He hosts from the East Coast, I rap on the West Coast, and sleeve she's clicking up. What up, fam? Blood is thicker than water, but if you want beef with shotguns, I want to show you that your blood ain't thick enough. Don't collect royalties, showing loyalties. Let me remind y'all once more that I'm Toph. Can't find a doper host on the east or the west, so make sure y'all tune into the PZ Show.
Grab your camera phones and your device.
Know what I'm saying?
Take off your shoes.
Y'all
Grab
tap
yourself
in,
some
man.
popcorn, baby.
Know what I'm talking about? Shout it live, man. Shout it live. 7 o'clock. East Coast time.
That's 4 o'clock on the West Coast. We out. We out.
Well, let's see. What's going on, people? We in here today. We back in here. And before we get started, let me just go ahead and post this comment to you guys. See if I can get this in here the right way. Seems like we were having problems yesterday, so it was acting like it didn't want to open up the link for you guys to get in here with me. And yesterday we had a really extensive conversation, you know, going through some things that really, you know, got my mind running in a way. Excuse me just a second. I'm almost done here. Just want to put those in. And while I got your attention, I'm about to put you on to what we're talking about tonight. All right. So tap in, man. Like, the comment is pinned. I'm about to pin it up on the comment section there for you guys. Join in. Tonight's conversation goes a little something like this. On tonight's Topic Tuesday, we want to talk to the people of America. Who do you pick for this year to take over and run the country? We have, it already looks like, Biden or Trump. Who's your pick? Comment below or join us tonight at 7 p.m. for the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It's Peasy. Bye. Yeah. So I don't know, y'all. I mean, I got a bunch of different thoughts on this whole situation. And I myself personally really don't have a pick. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you today. Um, on one hand, I know my civic duties are telling me that as an American citizen, I'm looking at the different policies between these two gentlemen, and I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't know. I myself have like um a few questions in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if the election was today, and we all had to go to the ballot boxes, the question I have for my people today is, who would you pick? Like, not trying to get too far into your business. I just want to know who you think would be the better candidate to run this country. Who do you think could address the issues that are plaguing our country's citizens? Like, these are real questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really want to know what issues you have. Like, I've been sitting and listening to a lot of different political newscasters, and one in particular has been given a gross amount of an account as to the reasons why we should pick the latter versus the returning. And it's just very indecisible, mainly because of the simple fact we're talking about two people who have had a shot at running the country. One who did it just for the sake of the fact that he was trying something for a PR stunt, and it just so happened to grant him the White House. Where another one, after several attempts, finally got his hand at trying to run this country. And for some odd reason, the biggest thing that I seen out of both of these guys is one person out of all two of them has a agenda I'm just not proud of, and I don't really think that anybody else, after you think about the fact that he's running with a party of people that really don't care about the average American. And now, when I say the average American, I'm not talking about the average corporation. I'm not talking about the average business, super business, mega business, whatever you want to call them, mega corporation, whatever you want to look at it, globalist. Um, it's a very confusing and just really concerning situation. But I want to be the person to sit with you and thumb through some of this stuff. You know what I mean? Because at some point we've got to be able to sit down and come up with an idea of who is our best option. One hand, we have a person who has said on many of occasions that he was not trying to do something, and then actually turned around and started to do things like the same things he said he wasn't. He runs with a party of people who agrees that programs like Social Security, Medicare should be cut, should be eliminated. We should not have these amenities. And for those of y'all that just don't understand, like SSI, Social Security, disability, and Medicare are for people who work, have worked, and just so happen to come to the realization that they can't work anymore. I mean, I don't know about you, but after I get to a health condition that says that I can't get up and go to work no more to get some money to work and pay my bills, I need some help. And I'm not going to lie about it, but I do believe that these programs should be, just as every commentator has said, every Democratic politician has said, these are third rails, meaning they are very much the one things that we work our asses off to have. We put all this money out of our taxes into these pensions and 401ks and things like that so that we have a smoother sit down when we sit down. You know what I'm saying? Out of both of these guys, one person is actually trying to address the gun violence in our country, the border crisis, along with a slew of other things like the infrastructure. Are you aware that this country has not repaired its most famous artifacts, landmarks, I should say, in years? When I say years, I'm talking 60, almost like 60 years. Okay, that's not safe. Then we wonder why we have incidences like the one that happened in that high rise in Florida. In the middle of the night, the building collapsed with hundreds of people in it. This couldn't have been possible had it not been for the fact that our public figures, aka politicians, had no control or no understanding of the stipulations that were at hand. These situations could have easily been resolved, and there could have been less, if any, injuries. But instead, we had an entire building with hundreds of individuals sleeping, elderly people, children, trapped in a building that collapsed on them because our infrastructure is weakened and no one has been taken account after they have the opportunity when they receive the, you know, approval to be our state's governors, lieutenant governors, Senate and House, or yeah, Senate and House members of each state. The concern leaves them. The constituents are left behind, and the money is front and center. If you are looking for a better example, we can look at places like Mississippi, which is one of the poorest states in this nation, run by a Republican Party, what they call the supermajority. And we know what happened with Mississippi. Those of us who are paying attention to the world and in our country's news, we've seen how Jackson is suffering. We've seen how there are crooked people who act as though they are good Samaritans, but in all overview of it all, money hungry, greedy, and just downright evil. Because you have been put in a position that holds a level of power over the individuals of your state. And I'm just looking at this situation. If you're here and you're really trying to do the right thing by the people of your state, why are we seeing issues where certain individuals from that state are suffering, caught up in a dilemma that is beyond their control at this point? And when you are supposed to be able to look to the states for your help, you find that the states are the actual reason why you're in problems. I mean, somebody please explain to me how Project 2025 is supposed to do anything for us. I mean, seriously, because I'm confused. I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't see who's agreeing that this is a great idea. And to tell people that our foreign allies don't matter, when in actuality, we look at the fact that our foreign allies are the reason why we have had such a long streak of peace in this country, or what we can call peace. We've had our internal situations amongst our countrymen. The fact that we have, on the other hand, one person who is trying to solve the problems that have been harboring our country for years, centuries almost. Literally been trying to solve the question, solve the puzzle that no other president has taken on at this time. And I mean, not since LBJ Kennedy did we even see anyone attempt these things. I mean, yeah, we've had, Clinton or Obama But this is something that I've thought about in this situation because, you know, I am the ancestors. I am the generational child of a slave. Yeah, I've traced back my history, and my family comes from the slave trade. And I have realized that there are situations that have come about in my lifetime that are very much real questions that I have and I would like to have answers for. Thank you. But I mean, like, I don't know about everybody else. I know myself that have we've been in some situations in this country. In this country, I've been a person who's very much intrigued with history, learning the many different movers and shakers that turned and molded this country into the place it is today, minus the Roe versus Wade deletion, affirmative action removal, and all of these different things. Because I don't know about y'all, but that's something real. And I'm not here to rag on the country. I'm not here to talk bad about it. I've been living here my whole life. But when I come to the realization that today is my son's 16th birthday, we've been over just the last week seeing piling reports of a Supreme Court that doesn't care about the average individual's rights. They have disregarded the Constitution, the thing that everybody said at one point, that this is the law of the land, right? When you come to the realization that there are people out here that really have captured power in a way that says they don't care what happens to anyone else as long as they obtain the power that they are seeking. It's quite, I don't know, it's devastating if you ask me, because when you look at the fact that we've been through a lot in this country. This country has a history that has seriously been through a lot of things. And to just ignore the history we have is ridiculous. Ludicrous, I might say. Because we don't have time to do that. We are considered a highly developed country. This nation has pushed itself forward throughout all the many setbacks that this country has had in its development. I don't get why people are allowing themselves to fall victim to lies, miseducation, misinformation. I'm sorry. But these things are critical. And I understand that you can sway people by showing them things that might not even be real or true to convince them that this is what's going on. And I was just reading something, when you start to think about the fact of the other guy who has been leaning to, act as if he is a savior of this country, when in actuality, if you are paying attention, the man is trying to save himself. I had that feeling in 2016. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought for myself, just being, my own opinion on this situation, I believe that he was literally trying to run for president because financially he couldn't afford to do anything else. He knew that was free, and if he could win with his quote popularity, there wouldn't be a reason for him to stop doing what he's doing. He felt once you became the president, you were given a level of immunity that is beyond belief. You, I don't get it. Like, yeah, I'm just sitting here retracing what I've come across when it comes to this individual specifically. He once said that I could shoot a man on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. Well, I don't know about y'all, but what we just seen in that Supreme Court ruling months ago or a month ago shows a little bit more than just that. It's as if whatever he says, everyone around him really just soaks it in, and that's the law. I myself remember hearing stories of a man who used to be like that, but politically didn't have that kind of power. He was just very much influential. Um, I think everybody is familiar with the story of Jim Jones, not the rapper, the man who he got the name from. I mean, just a ass backwards, sip the poison tea ass motherfucker. And I'm being honest with y'all right now, man. This shit is crazy when you think about the fact that this guy has created a group of people that believe so wholeheartedly that what he is doing is for the betterment of every one of them. I don't give a damn if you think it's for everybody, but it's not. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not. And you can see that when you can look at the fact that during his first presidency, this man actually took and gave mega corporations and big business, so to speak, a tax cut when the country needed more. And I'm talking about the middle class, the lower class, because they were the only ones left out of the entire equation for his little money break that he gave people. And if you aren't paying attention to this whole situation, I think everybody needs to be, reminded of the fact that this guy was the same guy that held up Those stimulus checks that he so proudly touts out, that he was so influential in getting done, right? But the only thing he did was sign. And he held up the process too, because after the Democrats in the House and Senate helped to pass the bill to get the funds sent to you and me, he said, "No, no, no, don't send them out yet. I want my name, just so y'all could believe what you're believing right now." So while y'all believing that Lil Wayne and them was talking about how much money they got, or uh, you know, all these other people that talked about Trump this and Trump that in such a positive way, like he was the best thing since fresh water. None of them were true. None of those things were completely on the mark. We're talking about people who didn't care versus someone who actually does care. You know, um, I don't want to say that, what I mean, these people are like high and mighty. I don't want y'all to think that, you know what I mean, I'm quote shelling for the Democrats. So I sure as fuck don't get paid for none of this shit. But just saying, man, like I'm looking at facts. I'm looking at the situation that is in front of us right now. We've got an infrastructure bill that was passed to help fix our roads, fix our bridges, buildings that are in ill rapport. We also have the first gun regulation bill that's been passed in the last 30 years. A regulation on guns in 30 years since this bill. And it's not like this bill is extravagant or it's not something that people are, doing backflips over. But at this point in our lives, we have to understand something. When you have people that are walking up in schools with AR-15s and shooting up kids, shooting up teachers, all because they're having a bad day. Yeah, true, it can happen with any weapon. But an AR-15 is just one of those expensively overkill situations. We actually have someone who believes that we should have universal background check. We have somebody who believes that we should have, an assault weapons ban, kind of like the one that we had when I was growing up. You know, in one way or another, we have to put these things in perspective. We have to stop voting or even feeling like our vote doesn't count. Because as long as you're an American citizen and you live in this country, that is your obligation. Um, I'm a person who has met a large number of different people. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of these people. Everybody I meet, I try to be communicatory. Not only that, but I also try to be a person who reaches out in a way that really, you know what I'm saying, shows that American value that I want to see, not just the one that my forefathers, my ancestors seen and had to endure, but a better America that will look at me and not see just um, a labor hand or uh, a business model. You know, they see me like they see every other individual in this country as a human being who has been granted access to this country's most precious resource, the ability to voice our opinions on what best suits the American people. Like, and at this situation, I'm not here to preach about it, but I am telling y'all, yo, it's so much going on in the day to day. I don't think that if we go with one person that's telling you they're the best and everybody else is suckers and chumps and all these other derogatory names, but hasn't proven to none of us, even as a president, that he can handle the job of president, taking care of the country's problem. And the country does have a white nationalism is a big thing now. People are seriously diving into the racist thoughts that they've had or their families have instilled. That's not good. Maybe for the average white person, and I'm not trying to seem racist about it, but it just seems like it's only going to be beneficial to the average white person. Women, on the other hand, not so much. Black and brown men, not so much. We have had an extensive history of hatred in this country where we have excluded a group of people simply because we refuse to admit what we have done wrong to them. Looking back at all the things that I can remember from reading on history and understanding what our history is in this country, we find out that there were several groups of individuals that were compensated, given an opportunity to be redeemed or made whole in one way or another. This country had something to do with that. But what has really disturbed me is the fact that out of all of these people who have received these reparations, the people of this country that weren't even invited, we were brought here forcefully. I don't get that. How can you just say fuck these people and then get mad and then go from, oh, I can't have my slave, to, if I can't have my slave, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna make excuses to cause them to just be brutalized. Worse than where we were before. We were already being brutalized when we first got to this country. I don't think people pay attention to that whole trip that we took. And yeah, I wasn't involved. I wasn't one of those people on the boat. but my family was. And at the end of the day, when you can trace back the fact that my grandmother was born in the 40s is like the middle child, actually the youngest of my great grandmother's kids. This is really something that really sticks with me, you know what I mean? Because we're looking at the fact that we've gone through all these things that we've seen these conservative people doing, these conservative politicians doing. You guys are seeing over the last 2 years, 3 years, states taking migrants and bringing them to drop off places like Martha's Vineyard, New York City, in California, Illinois. And it's crazy when you sit here and look at that and you're like, wow, okay, what about the fact they're bombarding the entire country? Well, what do you think happened after the Civil War and the black people of this country were given the opportunity to do things on their own? We had states governors from the Confederate that were still in operation telling their black statesmen, citizens, however you want to call them, there's a better opportunity north of here. Here, we'll give you all the money you need, or we'll give you what you need to get there. And it's funny how we look at these things because back then it was called the reverse freedom ride. Then we look at the fact that now it's happening in a way where we have some of the same Confederate states. Yeah, and I said that Confederate states because most of these states still like their Confederate flag. Their Confederate flag still flies high in some states. They have a high number in population of white supremacists who don't care for the average black person of color. And this is becoming the most diverse country in the world, where the minorities are becoming the majority. And it's already something that has been predicted, which is why we are seeing things like white fleet, people who don't want to see, you know what I'm saying, the population of people that were forced to be down get up. Mainly because of the simple fact what they realized is we were able to stand up after all of that, dust ourselves off, and make something of ourselves. Our ancestors did what they had to do and bled, sweated, and died for this country to be what it is. And I'm just saying this because I'm looking at all of that. I'm thinking about the fact that as American citizens, it is our duty, you know, to take in. Yeah, we have some politicians that feel like they can take advantage of the system. And it is our job to get rid of these people. We can't just sit at home and complain about it. We can't just sit at home and say we're not going to do anything about it. There's nothing we can do about it. Our vote doesn't count. Because let's just be honest with you. If our vote doesn't count, I'm only going to say this about 100 times. If our vote doesn't count, then people in politics would not be attempting to subvert your vote, invalidate your vote, take away ballot boxes so you can vote. This is a right that was given to us as American citizens of this country. And yes, when Black people observe the Constitution, it does not seem as if we are a part of it. Yeah, you're right. When you look at the Constitution and you see that, Black people were considered 3/5 and still are in this Constitution, hasn't been amended. And the only amending that they like to point to is the 14th. Yeah, 13th Amendment speaks on slavery. It speaks on the abolition of slavery, that no one is allowed to take ownership of another person. But at the end of the day, we're in a situation where we look at the fact that, all right, 2022 was the first time, if you haven't heard of it, that Juneteenth was even brought to the table as a national holiday. And it's, to my knowledge, something that has been in circulation for a long time. I don't understand how we can overlook something so heinous and be dismissive. I get it. Nobody wants their child to see the horrors of this country, the history that savagely took place on these lands. But it is imperative that our children learn our history in this country so they know what they're dealing with and they know what they're facing when they walk outside our homes. Because this ain't something that people are talking about. We couldn't even have a sit-down conversation in the schools with this because everybody wanted to strict certain things from the listings. Oh, we can't talk about this. Kids don't need to hear about this. And yet we have this alternate reality that we're pushing to our children about the things that happen in this country. These are all things that took place, the facts that have been instrumental in ways in our country. So I just don't know. We have a lot to think about here, and I don't think that we're analyzing the situation with a full scope because we realize that we have programs like ChatGPT, all of these AI, created, situations going on where people are stealing people's likeness and making just disrespectful, oh, you're not real, this doesn't seem real but it looks real BS. And it's not something that is going to be easy to decipher, but what we have to understand is the fact that there used to come a time where our people used to have more integrity about the jobs that they did. And this is not something that's just talking about the president. We're talking about in reality, in the world around us, in our communities around us. It's come down to a point of like people really looking at the situation and not having a concern for anyone but themselves. And even there, it's very small section of these situations. And I'm just trying to understand how this makes sense to anybody, because if we're here to make America great, and there was a time when it was, still trying to figure it out, but we are looking to the average American and not the ones that are voting for this change or for this great movement. You're taking us back to a time where our country was not fully on the rise that it's on, that it has. The beautiful developments that it is capable of being and coming to. I'm just looking at all of this, and it's not something that we should take lightly, because we're really in this for the long haul, unless you plan on leaving this country. So I mean, at the end of the day, if you love America like you say you do, then I think it's easier for all of you to just pay attention to the fact that, we've got to do better as a country. And I ain't talking about cleansing, or we got to get rid of all these immigrants and all this other shit, because whether you like it or not, the average immigrant that comes to this country to get a job and do the one thing that he couldn't or she couldn't do in her own country, and that's have a life. Yeah, I agree. We're having all these different situations around the American citizens where none of us are able to develop our cozy, comfy homes. We have politicians who are so lazy and haven't given a care about anything other than their own pockets. This is why we are just coming to a time where our infrastructure is being invested in. We're coming to a time where we're realizing that we could have modified our country for the future like this, with CHIPS and Science Act, all these other bills that really added on things like 15 million jobs, largest increase in employment in years. And here we are trying to debate a situation over who's going to be the better pick. But here we are. And with a little bit of time left to tell you what's going on, I just want to give you guys a little bit. I'm going to hit you with this one more time to let y'all know where we are and what the topics of the day is. Check it out. On tonight's Topic Tuesday, we want to talk to the people of America. Who do you pick for this year to take over and run the country? We have, it already looks like, Biden
or Trump? Who's your pick? Comment below or join us tonight at 7 p.m. for the show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. It's Peasy. Bye.
Yeah, this is definitely deep. I'm proud to know that I have people that really concern themselves with our society, because look, we have a lot of things that are going on in our country, and we can't always be on top of everything, but we can be more observant of what's going on and make a decision on whether we want to stand up and do the right thing, or are we going to continue to, act like nothing's wrong when it's clear that there is a problem in this country. And it's with the issues that have been stewing in our country for the last century or so, or more. Because we've all witnessed a level of the intensities that went on in our history. Now we're talking about if we want to go back, we want to go forward. So that's today's Topic Tuesday episode. I hope you guys enjoyed today's talk with me. Just listen to the notes. I'm telling you, and run it back. I mean, look it up yourself. Please do your research. And don't fall down any rabbit holes, because that's part of the reason why they're getting all of you guys confused. But love you guys. I want to talk to you guys tomorrow for New Wave Music Wednesday. Let's get some music up in here so we can hear some jams and some tunes, bang out to some new dopeness. I appreciate all of y'all for being a part of our show today and talking with us. Y'all have a good, wonderful night. I'm back. Peace. Peace. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. You know what time it is. Grab your camera phones and your device. Kick off your shoes and grab yourself some popcorn, baby. Cause the Peasy Show is online Monday through Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, baby. Grab your camera phone and your device. Kick off your shoes, grab yourself some popcorn, baby. Cause the Peasy Show is online, so come chill with us. We sure gon' have a good time, baby. We got the vibe. Welcome to my room. Yes, I'm blind. Saturday live. East Coast time. Yeah. We on the rise. Choose, enjoy the ride. What we can do is motivate minds. Like Motivation Monday. All about